What is up, everybody? It's Jamie. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at something that some people have requested, and that is how does the Sierra Blue of this year's Pro models compare to the Pacific Blue from the iPhone 12's Pro models. So I do have the iPhone 12 Pro Max in Pacific Blue, and I'm going to compare that to my iPhone 13 Pro in Sierra Blue. Before we get started, just a quick minute from the sponsor of today's video, Casetify. I've been a big fan of cases from Casetify, their Ultra Impact and Impact cases, for a while now, and they just released MagSafe versions of these cases. A great thing about the Impact and Ultra Impact cases from Casetify is that they are made out of 65% recycled and plant-based materials. They actually have a Recasetify program where they'll take old cases and they'll use those in the production of their new cases. All of their packaging is also comprised of 100% recycled materials. You really get a lot of drop protection with these cases. So here I have the Ultra Impact case that's going to give you 9.8 feet of drop protection. The Impact case, which is here, is going to get you 6.5 feet. And it's done by utilizing their proprietary Tech material. And so what that is, if you can see, there's a kind of orangish rubber material on the inside of the cases for both the Impact and Ultra Impact. On the Ultra Impact case, the only addition is on these four corners. So you get these little bumpers on each of the corner of the phone to help increase that drop protection to 9.8 feet. So I'm going to do a quick drop test for you guys. Here I have the Ultra Impact case on my 13 Pro. I'm going to go over there, toss this guy up in the air. Let's see how it does. This guy's perfect all around. I don't know if you can see all that well with the sun, but we are all good. When looking at the Casetify case offerings, the options are endless. So they have a lot of cool print options, like this Tokyo one that I have here. Also, I have this kind of vintage sticker option, as well as you have the option to go and fully customize with fonts, letters, names, whatever your desire is, there's an option for you. So you can get 15% off of your entire order from Casetify by utilizing the link below. So with the launch of the iPhone 13 Pro, I kind of didn't know exactly which color route I was going to go. I was initially intrigued by the Sierra Blue, but I didn't really know how it was going to look in person because I was not the biggest fan of the Pacific Blue color. So last year I went with the silver color. I wanted to go just clean, classic look, and it would have been easy to go that route again this year, but I wanted to switch it up. So for the iPhone 11 Pro, I went with the midnight green, then I went silver, and then I went Sierra Blue. And so looking at the Sierra Blue compared to the Pacific Blue, it was much more in alignment with what I want out of a higher end blue color. When the Pacific Blue color launched for the iPhone 12 Pro, I really wasn't feeling it. The greenish kind of bluish color didn't feel as high end or elevated as the other 12 Pro models. So I really hated hard on the Pacific Blue colorway. I will say that as time has gone on, it's grown on to me a little bit more to where it does have a certain elegance to it. I think in different lighting, it presents itself differently. Obviously with a lot of colors, that's the case. And it's just certain lighting, it just didn't really look super high end for me. But the more and more time that I see it, a year later now, I actually do like this colorway. But when I compare it to the Sierra Blue, I will say that I do think that the Sierra Blue is a much better color, especially when looking from a Pro model perspective. I just think that this kind of lighter color blue just really has a much more cleaner aesthetic. I also like the way that it matches with certain cases. I think it's much more versatile from a case option. I will say that similar to like the Pacific Blue, I wasn't 100% sold on this Sierra Blue, and maybe that's still kind of the case. Sometimes in certain lighting, especially like on the sides, it does feel a little more like a kid-like phone, like a little too playful to be a pro model. To be completely honest with you, I'm not entirely sure why the special color it's another blue. I think it's kind of weird with Pacific Blue last year, Sierra Blue this year. I mean, before that, I think it was like Hunter Green. Like looking back at the Hunter Green like color, like that just seems like I think amazing compared to the Pacific Blue and the Sierra Blue, because it wasn't a blue. When you look at the two of them, like one of the things that I guess maybe the reason why I didn't really feel too good about the Pacific Blue right off the bat is because it does have such like a green undertone, going from like the Hunter Green, which was, or no, it wasn't Hunter Green, it was Midnight Green. Going from Midnight Green to Pacific Blue, like it was still like a version of green, and maybe that's why I hated on it so much. But it's not like a bad color. I just think that Apple can do much better with their quote unquote like special colorways on an annual basis, because realistically I think that, you know, they're normal, the black or space gray, midnight, or the silver and the gold. I think those are just, I think those they do a really, really good job with those, but they just become kind of boring. You don't want to do the same color year over year. So adding in like one additional option I think is nice, but they just need to do a better job with what that special color is. I think that the Sierra Blue is a definite improvement. I think it's a better blue. I just don't know why we went from Pacific Blue to Sierra Blue. Like there's so many other different colors we can choose from. Why we went with this blue this year doesn't make sense to me, but I do like this blue color. So here you can get a better look of just the Pacific Blue versus the Sierra Blue, and it really, like having them side by side like this, it really just accentuates like how like much of a green undertone that Pacific Blue is, and that's what really like threw me off on it. I think that coming from like the Midnight Green, I wanted more of like a Sierra Blue type of blue. Now granted, like when you put these to the side, this is where like the Sierra Blue in certain lighting kind of looks a little maybe immature to me, or too playful, because it's so like shiny, but it's shiny blue. In certain lighting, it almost looks like the stainless steel that you get on the silver, but in other lighting, it can look very like, I don't know, blue candy-like. And that's where like in certain instances, I'm a little off on the Sierra Blue, but looking just at the backs, comparing just the color from that side, like I think that the Sierra Blue is just a much better blue color. Looking at the Pacific Blue like a year later, it's actually held up very well with extended use, especially when like looking at the sides. That darker color on the stainless really hides any like micro scratches much better, whereas as you know, doing the normal silver color or any like these lighter colors, you're going to be much more prone to seeing those scratches, where these darker colors are going to hide it a lot better. That's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to use the link below to get 15% off your order from Casetify. I'll catch you in the next video.